Hey, Jules Plus Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. I am melting, taking care of the animals outside. It is a cool 98 degrees. Anything below 100 is lovely, right? And I am just checking in with my JBV community. So, yes, I made it through week one of school. It was a little crazy. Had to put out some fires there. Dealing with 6th and 7th graders. It is all good. And then yesterday, which was Friday, I ended up driving down the hill because it was my sister's birthday. My other sister and her daughter, my niece that we're visiting from New Zealand, are leaving today. I want to make sure I say goodbye. Saw my mom, just a lot of stuff. So it was like a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. day, and I am exhausted. Like, seriously, I am so exhausted. But blessed, right? Exhausted and blessed. So I said that I was going to talk about chi, which is chi. Sometimes it's qi, sometimes it's even ki, but it's chi. And of course, I will include this fantastic article in the description of the video. But what's kind of funny is the way I even came upon this, and I've certainly heard chi at various times, but why it settled in with me was the live action version of Mulan by Disney. And it was because this witch character was telling Mulan that because she was living a lie, and she was pretending to be a man, right? Her chi was not going to be functioning or shining as bright. And I was thinking about like my disordered eating and how I lie and hide and do all the things that I do surrounding food when I'm in the thick of it. And that there's no way my chi can shine as bright. And I've often said that when, like, so many sins for me are surrounding food and disordered eating, from lying about it to hiding it to stealing it to, like on and on. Just the list goes on and on. It's so awful. So that's why it touched me. What I didn't know was that it was a huge controversy when Disney incorporated chi into that movie, and that culturally they missed the mark, and like it was this huge deal. And I thought, isn't that ironic that sometimes we're brought to something that completely touches us in the moment when for so many others it was absolutely wrong. And I was like, it's all good. It's all good. For that moment, God spoke to me. All right, let's get into it. So this is, what is qi? Everything you need to know about the ancient Chinese term, which of course this couldn't possibly be everything you need to know. People study it all their lives and they barely tap into it. But for our brief overview in this moment, right? Have you ever felt off balance but couldn't nail the exact reason why? Qi may be to blame for your fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. Qi is the energy current that runs through our bodies, providing us with circulation, nutrients, and minerals that we need to be whole. Which is super interesting, right? Because people will say, well, to get rid of brain fog and stuff, you have to eat raw vegan. And like, there's so many ways that people proclaim how to get rid of fatigue and brain fog and irritability. And others will simply say it's prayer or surrendering, to what life is asking of you. There's so many things, but this is one more tool, and it's an understanding of the ancient Chinese insight to qi. You know what I mean? It's been around a really long time. So it says, in traditional Chinese medicine, qi was thought to be the life force and ultimate measure of one's vitality. Now, when I'm not eating right and I'm not doing well, I don't necessarily show that exhaustion. Obviously, I'm showing excess weight, which sucks, but I don't necessarily show the exhaustion. And so if the chi was separate from my action, I'm chi all around because I have more energy than almost anybody in my world. It doesn't matter what age they are. But it is a life force. And there's this one individual who can see people's angels and angels around. And I had said, hey, well, pray me home. I've got a long drive, da da da. And they were like, your car is surrounded. Your whole energy is surrounded. You've got angels everywhere. I think you're good to go. And I thought that was brilliant. Okay, so it says the ancient art, which has been well vetted, meaning high, thousands of years, millions and billions of people, it's vetted. This is a real thing, okay? And considered safe practice by the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, has been used by doctors of integrative medicine and acupuncturists to restore the body to its natural, healthy state and to help people generally achieve a state of Zen. So this kind of makes me think of like when people use a chiropractor to like focus. I wouldn't. I can't trust that at all. I've seen people severely injured by chiropractors, but I know some people feel it puts them both back in harmony. So it says you feel generally well balanced and healthy. Yes, for me. I mean, yes, I struggle with my food, but in general, yeah. I have no physical pain in my body. Yay, God. I'm think quickly and on my feet and far surpass many. In general, yes. But let's see. Is it chi or qui? Qi. Both terms have been used to describe this undercurrent force, and while they are technically interchangeable, they vary slightly based on its cultural origin. It's called Qi in Chinese medicine or prana in Ayurvedic yogic tradition. Okay. According to the Acupuncture Massage College in Miami, Florida, it's best to use Qi in the context of restoring balance, since that is the physical or nourishing portion that makes up the air, water, and food we take in. Whereas Chi, Chi, refers to the vital fluids in the energy itself that flows through our bodies. Regardless, both have to do with working towards feeling a little better day to day. So let's go back a second. Qi is restoring balance of the physical or nourishing portion. Wait, it's best to use Q in restoring balance since that, yeah. Physical and nourishing portion that makes up the air, water, and food we take in. And CHI refers to the vital fluids and the energy itself that flows through our bodies. Okay. So why exactly is Qi critical to health? The example, I'm calling it Qi and Qi because QI just seems like Qi to me. Don't quote me on it, and no, it hasn't been vetted. The answer is simple. It's what courses through the body along meridians, and it also controls the movement of blood. Okay. The proper movement of both QI and blood through the body creates health and harmony in the human being. The Chinese viewed Qi as both an essential energy unit that could be obtained from food, but also a gas or pressure that promotes movement in the body. Go back a second because I thought Qi was the physical or nourishing portion that makes up air, water, and food we take in, and that Qi was the fluid and energy. So I don't understand that because didn't it just say that it's energy? Qi, once again, or Qi. Oh, so they're just combining all the concepts together. Okay, so let's go back. How do you know when your Qi is out of balance? Qi, or once again Qi, deficiencies can be caused by a lack of sleep, story of my life, food, shelter, clean water, fresh air, and other physical elements the human body needs to properly function. An imbalance can also be caused by insufficient mental stimulation, love, and social interaction. I mean, doesn't that run the gamut of our entire life right there? My gosh. If your Qi is out of whack, symptoms include fatigue, irritability, hormone imbalance, pain, muscle weakness, depression, cramping, and stress. It is also possible to have excess Qi, wow, as a result of environmental toxins like polluted air or water, or from too much physical activity. Too much physical activity. People don't think about that. Stress, negative emotion, or overeating. That's my story. What's the right way to balance QI? Luckily, there are ways of getting a little more centered. Patel recommends trying mind-body techniques and practices such as Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, meditation, Reiki, or massage. The best thing you can do, Patel says, is to prioritize sleep to avoid getting tired. Some people say the best diet in the world is proper sleep. I'm praying about it. This might be my year, people. It is also suggested taking on acupuncture or hobbies that encourage movement, stretching, and blood flow throughout the body, which can be particularly helpful for injured patients. He also recommends paying closer attention to the causes of your imbalance, not just treating the symptoms. Isn't that the biggest thing? Have another pill, right? He points out that the QI deficiency often results in a lack of nutrients and that it's essential to limit processed foods. So yes, that is the whole movement. Getting back to God's food. Getting back to, of course, raw vegan, plants, vegetables, healthy fats. Of course, getting back to SOS, no salt, no oil, no sugar, no packaged nonsense. Getting back to just plant-based. Yes, you can have some legumes. Yes, you can have some nuts. But again, that healthiest choice ever. So yeah, not just treating the symptoms. He points out that QI deficiency often results in a lack of nutrients and that it's essential to limit processed foods that can hinder absorption in the gut. Specifically, Wells recommends incorporating stews and broths into your diet. That's a big thing around the world. I'm from America. It's not a big thing in America. But in most places in the world, you always start with a soup before you consume your meal, right? It preps your stomach. It has you eat a little bit less. I mean, my gosh, people really love stews and broths. Ultimately, the greatest takeaway is to take it easy. I'm going to do a video on that, on why around the world soups and broths are a big deal. The greatest takeaway is to take it easy a little more often. We balance QI by resting, Taz says. When I was in Italy, they had the 3 hours in the middle of the day, right, where everything just shut down and people actually took a nap or rested. The world is a little busier now, but honestly, in many parts of the world, they know to take a moment. What about the places in the world that actually give women a whole year off to have their baby, get to know their baby, hold their job for them until they get back? There are places that are much more gentle than overambitious America. Maybe overambitious Japan. There's places that are too ambitious. But yeah, to take a moment. Even those 20-minute power naps are supposed to be so effective. Okay, so emphasizing the importance of lowering stress by adding exposure to the sun. Praise God, I'm in the high desert. I got sun and water. I miss my ocean. I used to love hearing the waves crash and just listening to the rhythm of the ocean my whole life. I lived at the beach till I was 38. Rest and recovery are essential to restoring the body. One thing though, in the high desert, there's a ton of wind, and there is a rhythm to the wind as well. It's really interesting. Next time someone pokes fun at you for your daily afternoon nap, simply tell them that you're doing it for your chi. Or your QI, or whatever you want to call it. All right, super interesting. Not quite the article I expected, but still really interesting. So as always, if you like, join us if you haven't subscribed. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of that? Are you familiar? And until we talk again, I'm going to keep praying about getting sleep. Freely the Banana Girl, who's the frugivore diet, she always says you can't get too much sleep. You cannot get too much sleep. If your body's asking you to sleep, you need it. Now, that's not to suggest that depression isn't real and that people don't oversleep. Of course they do, for avoidance and different reasons. But in general, if your body needs a little more time, a lot of people say, have the grace to turn off that alarm. That is not my story. I can't turn off an alarm. My life requires too much of me. But I could just say, tomorrow's another day. And I'm going to bed at 9:30, falling asleep at 10, and getting up at 5 o'clock. You know, you don't have to have 8 hours would be brilliant, but 7 is enough too, you know, if it's real sleep. I'm praying about it. Okay. Until we talk again, best of all, know that you're blessed.